everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing well today. It is a beautiful sunny October day. It is like 20 degrees Celsius out, which is like 64 degrees Fahrenheit, something like that. And I'm gonna go for a ride that I've been wanting to do for like years now. I've driven this road a few times, but I've never ridden this road, and I'm really looking forward to riding it. I've wanted to ride this road for so long, guys, because it is such a beautiful ride. This is one of the back roads on the way into Kamloops called Barnhardtville Road, and if you know the area, you're probably familiar with this road. You can take back roads almost all the way from Kelowna, BC to Kamloops, BC. And this is one of the back roads. I love this road. It's so beautiful, and I hope that you guys are going to enjoy it. So let's just get going. Johnny Crash all ready to go. And the beautiful views are already beginning. So this road goes all the way into Dallas in Kamloops, which is like a pretty decent little stretch of road. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, I've been riding around with a windshield for most of the part of like October and September because it's been like quite chilly. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, the windshield's like really nice, actually. Man, it actually, like, it makes such a big difference for just like temperature wise on the road. Being able to like last longer or just ride in like a little colder temperatures, and just not having the wind like beating against my head the whole time makes such a big difference. Like normally if I were to ride on a day like today where it's like super windy and I don't have my windshield on, I end up with like a severe migraine by that night or like the next day. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. I'll probably have like at least a headache tonight when I'm going to bed, or wake up with a migraine tomorrow, because I just don't have a very good neck and the wind does not do it any favors. But look at this beautiful view, guys. Like, seriously. Yeah, this would be like a very nice ride in the summertime. Just stop and have a little roadside picnic. Those are like my favorite. Pack some snacks in the backpack. Stop for a little treat along the way. It's kind of how I roll most of the time, except for today. I just brought water because I knew that by the time I got back into Kamloops, I was probably going to be kind of chilly, and I would probably want to stop at like Tim Hortons or somewhere for coffee. So I might do that, or something warm, maybe hot chocolate. And you know what, guys? That is one of my favorite things about cold weather riding. It's like you get all bundled up, and it kind of sucks having to like be all bundled up for a ride. I don't know about you guys, but I just don't like wearing that much gear. I feel like it makes it hard to move. But you get all bundled up and then you still get cold. It just gives you a chance to like stop somewhere, like an excuse really to stop somewhere and warm up, because normally you kind of need to warm up at some point along your ride, depending on how long of a ride you're going on. And it always just makes you appreciate your coffee or your tea or whatever you're drinking just that much more. It's actually always just been like one of my favorite things about cold weather riding. It just makes you appreciate your warm bed and your warm home and your sweatpants and your couch just that much more. And I actually like really enjoy it. But this year, my insurance runs out on my Dyna at the end of October, and I'm probably not going to be putting more insurance on it, just because I don't live in town. Like, I live out of city limits, so I'm not going to be riding my bike into town all the time to do what I need to do or whatever I'm able to do on my motorcycle. If I lived in town, it'd be a little bit different, because you end up, I feel like, having a lot more opportunity to ride, and you're not going highway speeds. where you're gonna end up like freezing half to death by the time you get where you're going. So yeah, end of October will be the end of riding season for me, even though I have a windshield, and I think a windshield would make a massive difference in town. Like, riding all winter long, I don't think would even be that much of a problem with a windshield at all. I used to ride all winter long when I had my XC250 on the road, but that was mostly just because that bike is so light and it's easy to maneuver, and it's also really cheap to put insurance on. It's like half the price of one of my Harleys for insurance. So I kind of was able to justify paying like the 3 months of insurance for the months that I would be hardly riding at all. Whereas now it's like I pay like over $120 a month for insurance on my bikes, and I feel like paying that much for insurance just doesn't really end up being worth it if I'm only gonna go for like a handful of rides or less. Man, but look at this view, guys. Like, seriously, it is beautiful. It's actually not too bad at this speed. I'm going like 70 kilometers an hour, just over, and it's actually like pretty comfortable. It's a little bit cold, but it's like just cold enough to make it so that stopping for a coffee is gonna be great. Trying to like branch out a little more and make some more like friends and connections around here with people who ride. I'm trying to make more connections with other Christians who ride, and I made a post on this Facebook motorcycle group, and I just was asking people like if there's any like Christian groups in the Kamloops area of riders, like people that kind of get together and do stuff. And it doesn't sound like there's really any official groups, or there's like a couple clubs really, but it doesn't really sound like there's any like Facebook groups with people who ride who are Christians. So I'm thinking about starting one myself for any Christian riders in the area. And my target like age group would be like from the ages of like 29 to 39 kind of thing. And for Christians, like Bible believing Christians, because there's a lot of riding groups for people who are just like riders, for like anybody to be involved in. But there's like, it's really hard to find groups that are for like specifically for Christians. And those kind of connections are so hard to make, because it's not like you just have like one church where all the Christian riders go to. It's like you'll have like a few riders scattered amongst all the churches throughout a town. But I had actually like a way better response to that post than I thought I would. And it's funny because you're always kind of like, I don't know, putting yourself out there as a Christian in a public atmosphere like Facebook, especially on social media of all places. You're really just kind of, I don't know, opening the door to all kinds of stuff, just like criticism of all sorts, and people just like making fun of you, or just like whatever, right? But just like whatever, man. Like, if you want to make fun of me for my beliefs, maybe you should like ask yourself why you're so insecure about what someone else believes. But I had a really good response, a way better response than anything I ever got from posting in any kind of Kelowna Facebook group. And I had enough of a good response from enough people that it made me feel like maybe I should just like start a Facebook group. Like, I know there's no harm in that. And the worst that can happen is it doesn't really grow or go anywhere, which is no loss to anybody. If it does go somewhere, that could be really good for a lot of people. So I'm kind of thinking I might actually do that. And I'm kind of also thinking I might actually pull over here, because it looks like a really nice view, guys. Maybe I'll go down the road a bit. I feel like it would be nicer down there. Okay, let's see. Oh, that's all sludge. I thought it was like nice beach. It's just a bunch of sludge. Ew, I would never swim in that. Way too tiny. It's like more like a pond than a lake. And here we go. Here's a way better view. This is actually like, it's so windy out here, but it's actually really nice. So look at this view. You Yeah, and I don't even think we're like halfway down the road yet, and it's already just been so beautiful. Yeah, it's so nice here. Look, a little fire pit down there. Hey, you could totally stop here and have a fire. What? It would be a good little spot in the summertime. Even in the now time. Just drive your truck out, you can be out here late enough. That's so nice. I think that's the guy that actually led I thought maybe that was the guy that like led the demo ride that I did on the Fat Boy, but it wasn't. He's on a way older bike. Anyway, gotta try and get a thumbnail picture, y'all. Okay, now that I've got my awkward little selfie for a thumbnail picture, we can go. The weather here is supposed to be getting like even colder by the end of this week, and by next Sunday it's only supposed to be going up to like 9 degrees Celsius, which I think is like 30 Fahrenheit. It's not freezing, but it's definitely not like the nicest, and it's actually supposed to rain for the last few days of this week too, which does not make the best rides either, but sometimes it just ends up being the ride too. And I've definitely been caught in some like pretty decent rainstorms. Like really bad rainstorms. Like one, actually the worst one that I've ever been caught in was when I was down in the Kootenays for Beaver Rally, and I was just like going to Beaver Rally. I was like an hour something like that away, and I got caught in this severe thunderstorm. It was just like monsoon raining on the highway and over the mountain passes, and I was soaked, guys. I was like literally every single article of clothing through to the bone. I was soaked. I had like puddles in my boots that I dumped out. Every time I went to shift a gear, I could feel the water sloshing back and forth in my boot. I was like absolutely just, it was, oh my gosh, it was horrible. It was a horrible ride. There was so much water on the road too, and I felt like I was so worried about hydroplaning because there was just like puddles and puddles and puddles of water. Like there was this one point in the ride where I had like probably 5 cars ahead of me going over one of the passes, and there was a semi-truck just going so slow. Like they were going like literally like 30 kilometers below the speed limit or slower. They were going so slow, and in my mind I'm like, guys, like I want to just get this ride done and over with. Like I do not want this to take like twice the time that it needs to. And nobody was passing this semi-truck, man. Like even on this like long stretch where you had a passing zone, and there was like, it was the semi-truck and then like 4 vehicles and then me, and nobody was passing this guy. And I'm just like thinking, like, do you all just have like all day and all night to try to get to where you're going? Because I don't. Like I do not want to be in this weather any longer. I want to stop. I want to be able to like dry off and warm up. So finally, like coming close to like the end of this passing lane, I decide, okay, I'm gonna pass you all because this is ridiculous. So I like hammered on it. I was on my dyno, of course, and I pass all these cars, and then I'm like passing the semi-truck, and by the time I get to being past the semi-truck where I'm moving back into my lane, I'm coming up like on a corner, kind of similar amount of curve is what's coming up on the road right now, and I immediately, I have to slow down like majorly to be able to like make this corner in the rain after like just stomping on it to pass all these vehicles. And so I'm like slowing down like hard, and I'm trying to gear down so I don't have to use my brakes as hard. But then my bike gets like caught in between gears, so I'm just like freewheeling it into this corner in the monsoon rain, like freaking inches of water on the road. Oh my gosh, guys, like it was like one of those like life flashing before your eyes kind of moments. It was like one of the few moments on the road where I've actually thought I was going off of the road. And thank God I did not. Like, thank God, seriously, that he was with me in that moment and I did not go off the road. But you know what? Even that, and thinking back on it now, it's good memories. And it's like, it's actually like a good story to tell now, I guess. But I got to Beaver Rally, and I don't know if any of those ladies watched my video or not, but I pulled up and I didn't even pull into like a camping spot. Didn't go like look for my tent that Rob and Vera were lending to me or anything like that. I just pulled up right next to the bathrooms because I planned on going in and changing my outfit right away. And as soon as I pulled up, like all these ladies stopped what they were doing. They're like all huddled underneath a tent with their propane fire pit. And they all, like, a couple of them come over to me and they're like, oh my goodness, girl, like, get over here, get yourself dried off. And they just, like, all take me under their wing. They, like, pull up a chair for me, put me beside the fire pit. Like, they're like, get all those wet freaking clothes off yourself. So I'm, like, standing there in my long johns that I had on under my jeans and just like trying to dry off in the fire, and I'm just so soaked, like you could wring puddles out of all my clothes. And yeah, they absolutely took care of me. They hung up my clothes over the fire and let them dry and lent me a nice warm pair of socks and everything. And you know what, for everything that happens at those rallies and for as much fun as they can be, that's the thing that I enjoy the most when I go to them, is just seeing the people that you've got to know over the years and who you've like, every time you see them, it's like you create a closer and a closer kind of friendship with them. And I really enjoy my tent time and fire pit hangout with those women who don't drink and they don't party. They just hang out and they just enjoy like the moments and save little Red Riders like myself from their misfortune and their ill-prepared way of traveling. Yeah, it is a good time, and I actually just like really look forward to seeing all those people again. And if any of you are watching, I appreciate y'all like so much. And yeah, I'm glad you guys are part of my story. Yeah, I've definitely had my fair share of like poor weather riding. I'm definitely no stranger to any of it. And I know that some of you guys have like your stories that are like top mine times a million. Like the Hoka Hay Rider. I know that I think you still watch my videos, but reading his story of the Hoka Hay Challenge and some of the weather that he was caught in, man, guys, it is insane what some of you have done in your younger years of riding and stuff, and what some of you still do. Like, man, that Cactus Panhead guy, I don't know if you guys follow him or not, and I'm not sure if he has a YouTube channel, but he's on Instagram for sure. And if you guys go check him out, man, he is like crazy. The weather that guy rides in is insane. And he's not a young guy. He's just very passionate about his riding. And he's actually a Canadian guy. He's from the prairies. And yeah, good for you, Cactus Panhead. Like, keeping the chopper legacy alive in Canada. Because he's hardcore for sure. But maybe one day I'll be that person. But I don't know, guys. I'm not going to like pretend that I will ever be that person. Because I honestly, I would rather just be warm. I'd rather like enjoy my ride. But I don't know, because I say that, and then there is like that element, though, like I said, that goes with just a cold weather ride, and just it makes the ride so much more enjoyable. It makes the stopping, I should say, after the ride so much more enjoyable. And that's kind of what I like about cold weather riding, is just that whole side of it. It feels so good just to stop and warm up somewhere. How do you guys feel about cold weather riding? I guess you guys can tell me how you feel about that. I know that there's all kinds of different types of riders. I've known people who, if they have to wear a jacket, like if it's cold enough for them to need a jacket at all, they take the insurance off their motorcycle and they don't ride anymore. Where I'm not that much of a baby, because I'm wearing a jacket right now and a sweater and a vest, and I'm still riding because it's sunny out, even though it's windy, and I don't like riding in the wind. But anyway, guys, that's the end of Barnhardville Road. We're in Dallas now, Kamloops. I'm gonna stop and get a coffee at Subway or this gas station, maybe. Well, I decided to stop at Tim Hortons because they have way better coffee than the gas station, and I'm really happy that I did because they have chai tea lattes now. I love chai tea lattes. They are like seriously one of my favorite hot drinks, if not my favorite hot drink. Actually, mochas are pretty good too, but you gotta make a mocha right. Chai tea used to be like my favorite tea to drink for such a long time. Then I had real chai tea one time when I went to an East Indian restaurant. This East Indian restaurant my mom and me and my sisters used to always go to for their lunch buffet, and they would always have like fresh hot chai tea on the buffet, like just ready to drink, and it's so good. And then my friend actually bought me for my birthday real chai tea with the masala mix and everything, and I will like boil that up sometimes in some milk, and it's just so good with a little bit of honey. Like literally my favorite hot drink. So good. The chai tea lattes that you get from like Starbucks and coffee shops and stuff like that isn't really like chai tea, but it has like the flavor of it, but they're still really good. Been wanting to do that road for a long time, and it's finally time that I've done it. It actually went by a lot quicker than I thought it would, because looking on the map it looks like it's a lot longer ride, but maybe I was just enjoying it, or maybe I was just talking my face off, and that's why it seems to fly by. I actually had things to talk about this time, whereas normally when I'm making a riding video, like I edit out a lot of the ride, because a lot of it I'm just like sitting there saying nothing. So this time I was like trying to come up with stuff to talk about so I didn't have to do that. So hopefully nothing I talked about bored anybody too much, and you guys are all, or well, most of you hopefully are still here. I'm gonna finish my delicious Tim Hortons chai tea latte, and then I'm gonna head back home and continue working on my little Yamaha dirt bike project. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you everybody for watching, and like always guys, if you like what you see, or if you just like me, or even if you don't like me but you like my bikes, then like, comment, subscribe to all the things you guys do, and like always, I will catch y'all on the flip side. Peace. Oh my gosh, I hate those. Wow, it's a stinky lake. I hear a bike coming. I want to hide. I don't want to talk to anybody. I hope this guy on this bike doesn't stop to try to talk to me. Old man thinks I'm gonna just freaking fly into him. I'm not gonna fly into you, old man. And I'm looking like a dork, majorly. Wow, my hair looks stupid. I can tell by the shadows. Stupid. Testing. Don't freak me up. Feeling very uncomfortable right now. What is going on with this chin strap? It's like very uncomfortable right now. What is going on here? Like something is not right. This chin thing is like being very stupid. Okay, let's go. No, we can't. Because something is choking me. I'm just like suddenly like annoyed by the feeling of this thing on my face, on my head, I mean, which is weird. Like, but I've always been that way. My mom used to always compare me to the princess that had a pea under her like 10 mattresses and she could still tell that it was there.